interesting edition of your newspaper headlines today from BGI TV Current. My name is Replies. I welcome you into a new week, the very third day in the month of July 2023.
Good morning, all viewers around the world. My name is Ige Olalekon. I hope the week has been lovely, and as we have just resumed for the new week, I pray this week will be more glorious to us all in Jesus' name. My name once again is Ige Olalekon, and with me I have Nigerian Tribune, Vanguard newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, The Nation newspaper, and Platform Times.
I'm having the Punch newspaper with me, and my first rider comes with Governor's Battle Cash Crunch, and also NNPCL Marketers Fuel Vessels arrive next week, Ipman.
From my side here, I have 2023 election, Tinubu'S victory not fraudulent, Presidency reply EU. And from the Vanguard, battle for leadership of committee ministerial list screening top agenda as Senate resumes tomorrow. From the Nigerian Tribune, JAM to prosecute, withdraw, result of Anambra candidates, give reasons. And from the Vanguard, we have this, Tinubu'S move against terrorism. Going through the platform, we have domestic workers mastermind kidnaps of Vice Chancellor in Akwa Ibom.
Alright, I'm beginning from the Punch newspaper, like I mentioned earlier, and the very first one is coming with the story, Governor's Battle Cash Crunch, and the story has it that about 25 states in Nigeria suffered a shortfall in internally generated revenue and struggle with cash crunch in the first quarter of 2023. Data obtained from the budget implementation report of each state showed that 25 states earned 182.26 billion naira in quarter 1 2023. The rider once again, Governor's Battle Cash Crunch.
And from the Nigerian Tribune, 2023 election, Tinubu'S victory not fraudulent, Presidency reply EU. The Presidency has rejected the conclusions of the European Union Electoral Observers Mission on the 2023 general elections, accusing the regional group of bias as it allegedly relays on social media, commentaries and opposition talks aired to arrive at its submissions. Recall that the EU in the final report on the exercise that it presented recently found out that the general election did not ensure a well-run, transparent and inclusive democratic process as had been promised by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC). The EU held that public confidence and trust in INEC were severely damaged during the presidential poll and were not restored in state-level election, leading civil society to call for an independent audit of the entire process. And from the rider, 2023 election, Tinubu'S victory, not fraudulent, Presidency replies EU.
Large consignments of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, being imported by major oil marketers are to hit Nigeria from next week and may force down the price of the commodity, both major and independent dealers stated on Sunday. It was also gathered that crude oil refiners were currently releasing the refined petroleum product on credit to dealers from Nigeria, following the recent unification of the country's exchange, which boosted the confidence of operators. This came as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria told correspondent that they would compete with the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited on the importation of petrol, stressing that this would crush the cost of PMS. And to the rider, NNPCL Marketers Fuel Vessels arrive next week, Ipman.
And from the Vanguard newspaper, battle for leadership of committee ministerial list screening top agenda as Senate resume tomorrow. As senators resume tomorrow, the fight for those to become the principal officer for both the majority and minority parties would now be taken to the National Assembly, though the issues of who become the principal officers is purely a party affair. Recent developments have shown both internal and external influence in the matter, just as what played out in the case of House of Representatives in the 9th Senate National Assembly, when the People's Democratic Party (PDP) wrote to then Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila submitting the name of Chida Kingsley, but the Speaker tricked the PDP and announced Ndudu Elumelu as the minority leader. In the Senate, the principal office position for the ruling All Progressive Parties, APC are the majority leader, chief whip, deputy leader, and deputy whip, while the opposition party have the minority leader, minority whip, deputy minority leader, and deputy minority whip. With the inauguration of the 10th Senate, the ruling APC had 59 senators, PDP 36, Labour Party 8, New Nigerian Party NNPC 2, Social Democratic Party 2, and All People's Grand Alliance APGA and Young Progressive Party 1 each. And to the rider, battle for leadership of committee ministerial list screening top agenda as Senate resumes tomorrow.
Opposition attacks FG as Presidency lambasts EU poll observers. The story is coming from the Punch. Standard bearers of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar and his Labour Party counterpart Peter Obi, have lampooned the Presidency for rejecting the European Union final report on the February 25 presidential election. The EU Observer Mission in its report faulted the polls owing to enduring systemic weaknesses. The election outcome has been disputed by the PDP and LP and the candidates who alleged that the polls were not credible. But the Presidency, in a statement on Sunday, refuted claims by the EU that the election which produced President Bola Tinubu was flawed, describing the report by the EU observers as a purely done desk job. The rider again, opposition attacks FG as Presidency lambasts EU poll observers.
I'm taking you through the platform times. Domestic workers mastermind kidnap of Vice Chancellor in Akwa Ibom. A former domestic worker, Prince Thursday Okon, has been arrested for allegedly conniving with two other suspects to kidnap of the Vice Chancellor of a private university in Akwa Ibom State. The State Commissioner of Police, Olatoye Durosimi, disclosed this at the weekend. Durosimi stated that Okon connived with his gang members, Saviour Sunday Luke and Richard Friday, to kidnap his former boss after he was sacked over alleged criminal tendencies. The CP said the remaining kidnaps ransom of 1,550,000 and the Toyota Corona used for the kidnap operation were also recovered, while the VC had been reunited with his family. On the 14th of April 2023, at about 10:30 a.m., the Vice Chancellor of a private university in the state was kidnapped on his way home, the police boss stated. 2 days later, being in the 16th in a prompt and discreet investigation, operative. And from the platform time, domestic worker mastermind kidnap of Vice Chancellor in Akwa Ibom. A former domestic worker, Prince Thursday Okon, has been arrested for allegedly conniving with two other suspects to kidnap of the Vice Chancellor of a private university in Akwa Ibom State. The State Commissioner of Police, Olatoye Durosimi, disclosed this at the weekend. Durosimi stated that Okon connived with two of his gang members, Saviour Sunday Luke and Richard Friday, to kidnap his former boss after he was sacked over alleged criminal tendencies. The CP said the remaining kidnappers' ransom of 1,570,000 and the Toyota Corolla used for the kidnap operation were also recovered, while the Vice Chancellor has been reunited with his family. To the rider, domestic worker mastermind kidnap of Vice Chancellor in Akwa Ibom.
Also, still on the Punch newspaper, and the story I'm having is about JAMB trying to interrogate and investigate a student. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has said it will prosecute one Ejikeme Mesoma for allegedly inflating a score from 249 to 362 in the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, thus parading herself as a 2023 UTME top scorer. The examination board and body said it also uncovered one Atong Gerard from Kaduna State who never sat the exam but claimed to have scored 380 scores. In a statement on Sunday by its spokesman, Dr. Fabian Benjamin, JAMB said it found the case of Mesoma particularly pathetic as she had allegedly hoodwinked unsuspecting members of the public, including businessman Chief Innocent Chukuma, who offered her 3 million naira in scholarship, while a state honor was being planned to celebrate her. The rider again, UTME top performer, manipulated score, faces prosecution, JAMB.
And from the Nation newspaper, Tinubu returns to Abuja after Paris, London, Lagos trip. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday returned to Abuja from Lagos, 13 days after he left the nation's capital to attend summit on new global financing path in Paris, the capital of France. The president had returned to Lagos last Tuesday to observe the Eid el-Kabir festival in his home at Ikoyi. In the course of attending the summit, he had held diplomatic meetings on the sideline of the main event. While he was in Paris, President Tinubu met with French President Emmanuel Macron at the Élysée Paris Presidential Hélène Biret at Palaces Bourbon. Benin Republic President Patrick Toa, Director General of World Trade Organization Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and President of the African Development Bank Dr. Akinwumi Adesina. He also met the President and Chairman of Board of Directors of African Export-Import Banks, Professor Benedict Oroma, and President of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, Odili Reunion. According to the rider, Tinubu returns to Abuja after Paris, London, Lagos trip.
The rider from the Punch, which is my next story, mourns as kidnappers kill RCCG pastor, 7 churchgoers rescued. The Christian Association of Nigeria in Ogun State on Sunday expressed sadness over the killing of a pastor, Kayode Oluwakemi, by kidnappers who abducted 7 worshippers, all of whom had been rescued in the state. Information gathered that the churchgoers were conducting a vigil at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Desires of Nations Parish, when the kidnappers invaded the premises of the church at Abuleori in the Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State, killed the pastor and kidnapped 7 worshippers. Reacting to the development, the General Secretary, Dr. Stephen Adeyemi, urged the government to step up efforts to stop insecurity around worship centers in the state. The rider again, mourns as kidnappers kill RCCG pastor, 7 churchgoers rescued.
Moriri, this morning I want to take you on the reports of the European Union in respect of the just concluded presidential election in Nigeria.
Right.
Based on the fact that they said that there have been a lot of malpractices on the course of the election, and this is the same election that a lot of political leaders across the globe have been commending Nigerian government for. At least that the election has gone very well in terms of the exercise, and there has not been much casualties as we expected. That okay, maybe the election could even lead to the disintegration of the country. What is your take on European Union's point of view on this?
Definitely, when you give a student an assignment, you should expect a result. So that was their duty, which they have done and submitted to the Nigerian government. I'd like to remind the European government to understand, or union, that they should bring the templates, since democracy in Nigeria, where we've been having voting as our means of electing our presidents. They should bring a template that shows originally an election in Nigeria without rigging.
But if you now looking at it from 3 different angles, as in the APC said they rejected the result. The LPC were commending the European Union for the fact that okay, the report they brought was genuine and it is valid. The civil society are in line with what the LP said about it. But the current administration said that well, the European Union had been biased in the assessment and evaluation. What is your take on that?
It still boils down to be what I stated earlier. If truly the election result was biased by from INEC announcing or pronouncing that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the president elected, they should just understand the fact that the election has come and gone. So whoever is against it or supporting it, if the APC queried and fights back that the results was not well carried out, definitely they have their reasons, and probably we should wait because the case is still in court. So whatever the court decides determines what's happening in Nigeria. But I want to urge every party to understand the fact that the new government is working already. So they should just let the sleeping dogs lie.
Okay. Let's go through the Vanguard newspaper. We have this headline: Battles of Leadership of Committees. Ministerial list screening tops agenda as Senate resumed today. Now, the Senate will be resuming the 10th Senate will be resumed in the National Assembly today. And as they are resuming, one of the top agenda on their list is to appoint the principal, executive of the House, like who is going to be the chief majority leader, the minority leader, and things like that. Then if you look at the antecedents of what happened during the 9th Senate, we'll discover that there was a kind of, you rub my back, I rub your back, and things like that. But this particular one that is coming up now, what is your expectation and what is your take on the process?
My expectation from them is that they should do their best by not repeating what the ninth assemblies and senates did during their own time. So they should expect APC committee should lead either both the minority and the other part of it, which is the upper chamber and the lower chamber. You should expect the politics into it, no matter what. Irrespective of the party we're having at the ends of affair of the country, definitely it's going to be an inter-party nominations and employments, to say a few from my own part.
Okay, let's go through the case of the JAMB issue, whereby JAMB is talking about the issue of Misoma. What is your take on the issue of Misoma?
If there was no sign that yes, she manipulated the score, JAMB wouldn't have come out to defeat her claim. And let's wait and see during the investigation and prosecution if she's 100% with her result to be the best student with the best scores ever. Definitely, the investigation results shall let us know why JAMB have come out and denied the claim from Misoma, and probably if everything is checked electronically, then we'll know who is lying and who need to be dealt with.
But if I may ask, before the advent of this globalization sort of a thing, before when they used to write JAMB, there is no way you could say you want to upgrade your marks or things like that. Now, with the issue of this JAMB, as in respect of a GK Misoma, do we say that there will be some internal forces from JAMB who would have connived with this girl to upgrade as something or not?
Exactly what I just said. Maybe. Maybe and maybe not. Because if there was no internal forces, or if there were no internal forces to support her, or she buying scores, she wouldn't have gained access to making her fingerprints, manipulate the machine for scoring herself with that figure. So when the investigation commences, we shall know the next thing that happened during the whole thing.
But with this case, do we now say that the development in terms of technology, is it a good thing to us, or do we say it's a bad development?
I cannot say it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just that the young girl is a daughter of a nobody.
Okay.
If she was supposed to be a daughter of one of the ministers or senators or ex leaders, we wouldn't have heard about it.
Okay, going through the platform, we have this headline: domestic workers mastermind kidnap of vice chancellors in Akwa Ibom. His boss, his own boss, as a result of the fact that there was an allegation that the boss discovered that he had this criminal tendency, and he went away with a certain amount of money and a Toyota Corolla. So what do you see to that?
Cruel intention. See no reason why you should mastermind the kidnapping of your boss, where you earn salary. Even if you have no family you are catering for, you should understand the fact that the salary you are getting from there is a means for sustenance. So Nigerian youth should just try as much as possible to desist from such devilish mindset or quick money. And now he's been caught and arrested. Definitely he's going to face the drop and dance to it.
Do we have any other headline from your end there?
I am removing your mouth from feeding bottle OT to looters. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has vowed to recover all government funds and property in the hands of alleged corrupt persons in the state. This is even as he has assured that his administration will disconnect the mouths of more looters of public funds and property from the feeding bottle of the state. Oti made the vow in Umuahia during the Thanksgiving service of the Deputy Speaker of Abia State's House of Assembly, Honorable Austin Okezie Meregini, held at St. Anne's Catholic Church. He explained that various changes he had made so far in the state civil service and the dissolution of various boards in the state were geared towards rebuilding Abia, and vowed that every stolen public fund and property would be recovered through the recently inaugurated panel of inquiry. And the rider is, I am removing your mouth from feeding bottle, OT to looters.
Now let's look at it from this angle. The headline you just read. Why is it that most of the executive, the appointees, whenever they are leaving office, they tend to take some of the properties that belongs to the government away with them?
Because they are sacred cows. And the Nigeria judicial system is not meant for them. It's only meant for armed robbers, Yahoo boys, and an hungry man that got to a place where he could get food, and probably out of the desperation and hunger, he picks one or two things and eats. Then the next thing you see, we have jungle justice perpetrators and stuff like that. But they feel like when they steal, no one is going to ask them for anything. Take for example, if any one of them steals, let's say 10 naira, they will be charged to court. We will hear the story for a week on our dailies. Someone who have stolen 10 naira, and you're asking the person to come and pay 1 cent from the 10 naira, who is fooling who? So that's how I say it.
But for discipline to be instilled, what do you think should be the result? As in, what do you bring should be the punishment for those acts?
We already have the punishment, but it's not being utilized. That is it. We have the punishment in our constitution and some sections of the law of the state or the nation as a whole. We already have the constitutions, we already have the law, we already have the sword of the judicial system, but it's not working. It's not working. I'm having my last rider from Ondo State. Take your deserved rest, no need rushing back. Jimoh Ibrahim, councils Akeredolu, Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State has been urged to not hasten his return to the country from his medical leave abroad. While giving the admonition over the weekend, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, who is representing the Ondo South Senatorial District at the National Assembly, advised the governor to cancel his return flight and take extra time to relax before starting his official duties. The senator gave the advice to the governor during a telephone conversation. And the rider on Daily Post, take your deserved rest, no need rushing back. Jimoh Ibrahim, councils Akeredolu.
Now let's take a look at this headline from the Nation newspaper as we round up. The president had traveled for a summit and he had gone around to some countries. Even alongside with that, he has been able to have a lot of robust deliberation with some Nigerian representatives and some of the head of those international bodies, of which Nigerians are even member of it, like the director of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, then the African Development Bank, which was Dr. Akinwumi Adesina and the rest of them. So what do you think should be the expectation of Nigerians? And what do you think will be the outcome of these diplomatic meetings and things like that? How does it make any positive impact on Nigerians?
We should wait until the dispensation of the template brought back by the president. So when we expect it and the time is running out of time and we're not seeing anything, then we can agitate for any condemnation, reaction, or protest against it.
Okay. So as the president had gone, traveled on a trip and he has had a lot of diplomatic meetings with the people around the world, we hope and we expect that Nigeria will be a better place, and those meetings will rub off on the positive side on Nigeria and bring us back to the giant of Africa of which we used to be known for. My name remains Ige Olalikon, and I believe it has been a wonderful time taking you through the dailies for today. I hand over to Morire.
My name is
Rabila.
Morire Rabila Lawal. I'm urging you to enjoy your new week ahead and stay blessed. Let your comments be on the comment section for us to know if truly we've done our best today for God bless.